how do you avoid getting into the difficult fandom conversations, or how do you address them, where there suddenly becomes this sort of ownership that really feels kind of, well, certainly unhealthy for one, but it leads to the quizzing you on machete order kind of stuff.
For me, I do think it's rooted in a lot of these, like, I don't want to generalize them as dude bros, but for the most part it is like dude bros who get really angry about it. And I think it is rooted in their own, like, inability to see that it's not just, they were not the only ones to like it, because I do think that they were made fun of as kids for liking these things, but I think it's because they were also not nice people. Like, that's kind of my thought process constantly, is like, you weren't made fun of for liking Star Wars. They used that because you were being a jerk. Like,
Right.
They just threw that in your face because you were acting a certain way. And so it then has led to them being like, well, since I got made fun of for that, and not recognizing that they weren't made fun of for just that they are the only ones who have experienced that. And they flock to the same kind of, like, people who also they think the same way. So then when women or, like, people who they were like, well, I never saw you in high school talking about Star Wars, suddenly are like, no, yeah, I love Star Wars, I love this, this, and this. They see it as, like, a competition instead of just seeing, like, oh, cool, I wasn't alone. There's a whole world of people who love Star Wars. Like, this is cool to talk about. And so I think that's kind of where it's rooted, is like, they're just unwilling to see that the galaxy far, far away is a lot bigger than just their view of it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I assume you've been to Star Wars Celebration, and you don't see any of that behavior there. You literally, because it's people who've gone in and are starting in that right spot of, oh, you like Star Wars? Cool, let's talk. And it doesn't start with immediately trying to prove why you're not there. I think one of my favorite recent comments on one of our shows, we had Andy Hodges, One Hat Town on Twitter, on our show, and he was talking about Star Wars from his perspective, from the queer community. And he said people who say that they've never met a queer Star Wars fan, they just didn't come out to you because they didn't feel safe with you. And that's a similar situation to what you're saying. Like, yeah, you didn't meet the girl Star Wars fans in high school because they didn't want to talk to you. And they're carrying that with them as they move forward.